What's going on, everyone, and welcome back. Brand new video on the channel, back with some more Carx Street. In today's video, I wanted to try and mess around with one of the new settings that they've added to this game, just to see what it's like, just to see what's so different about it. Basically an adjustment in the good old-fashioned assistant. So this is what mine is set to, right? I was messing around with it and just trying to see what everything is like. So obviously the stabilization is maxed out, and the angle stabilization in drift is also maxed out as well. So this changes, obviously, the way the counter steering and the way the car handling works in the game as a whole when you're drifting on a controller. So the thing is, though, as well, in Carx Drift Racing Online, there was a setting where you could turn off the auto counter steer, right? And it was not great. Let's just put it that way. It was not great at all, due to the fact that it was super twitchy, and the way it worked just wasn't really that great. But if I want to have like super smooth, I was gonna say, is this a dirt road or not? No, it's not. I think we're good. If you want to have like super smooth slides like this, it's really difficult to not have auto counter steer, especially when you're on a controller. You can do it, you can still have it so you can counter steer yourself, but it's just not as smooth, and it just doesn't look as great as if you have the auto counter steer feature on, right? That was in Carx Drift Racing Online. In this game, we don't actually have that feature, or we don't have the option to turn it off. You just have the auto counter steer on when you're drifting. I don't know, it's really difficult to explain for people that haven't played the game before on what I'm talking about. So right now when I'm in the corner, to increase my angle, I kind of steer more into the corner. And it's not like it's a Need for Speed sort of thing when it comes to this, like, because it doesn't feel like that, because it still feels like, oh my god, I'm going off. I'm going way too fast. It just feels right. I don't know how to really explain it more, but like with Need for Speed, for example, especially Need for Speed from 2015 onwards, when you have brake to drift, you kind of steer into the corner and then just kind of hope for the best, if that makes sense. Whereas this just feels like you're, with your left stick, you're just controlling the angle, and it just feels so nice and smooth. You can see the type of slides that I'm doing here, and this is just going to be completely impossible, first of all, if I had to counter steer myself, unless they made the drive physics very similar to Forza Horizon games, I guess, where you can have it so you can steer smoothly like this, but it's just heavily assisted, but you still have to counter steer yourself, which is why I still mentioned in one of the earlier videos that I really like the handling physics in Forza Horizon games the best, because it just feels like it's still the same sort of physics that, or whatever, the same sort of inputs that you're using in real life, you still have to use in game. It's just they're kind of assisted, whereas this one is like heavily assisted, but it's obviously like made so you steer more into the corner if you want to try and if you want to try and slide and get bigger angle. Instead, it's just weird. It's just I don't really know how much more I can explain it to make it better, but the way the handling physics in this game work are basically like that. And again, like I said, it's worked really well so far. And if you play on wheel, it's completely different. If you play on a wheel, obviously, then immediately you have to start counter steering yourself and stuff like that. And you can make it so you can drive really smoothly on a wheel. But on a controller, if you want to be smooth, you can have to steer into the corner. So in today's video, I'm going to try out to see what the difference is between both of these. So I'm going to go bit by bit, and I'm going to bring my stabilization to 50%, just regularly, just to see what that's like, if that makes any sort of difference. Okay, it doesn't seem to. Maybe it's a little bit more loose. Just a little bit, but it doesn't really feel that different. I mean, the physics are still the same, obviously. You steer more into the corner if you want to do more. Yeah, so far it seems pretty similar. I'm trying to figure out what way you need to do this to be able to have it correctly. So, what if I go angle stabilization in drift? Or if I turn it fully off? What is that like? So now it shouldn't help me at all, right? Oh yeah. Okay, now it's noticeable. So when I'm going sideways, if I want bigger angle, I need to go in with a bigger angle. I can't just let go. Okay, this is interesting. So you're obviously much much more free to do your own thing. You're a lot less assisted. And you can automatically see it's a lot less smooth. I mean, I think you can still do stuff like this. You have to be really, really careful on your steering and all that, but you constantly need to have input. I mean, I guess this is a good thing, right? But because it's not looking as smooth, it doesn't feel right driving like this. So this is one of the options, one of the things that they introduced, where okay, they introduced this in one of the public test servers, right? I just didn't really try it at all, but now that I'm trying it, it's not difficult to do. It's just the physics are just kind of weirdly laid out. All right, so it's like it's still the same sort of physics as before. So you still have the same arcade physics. You try to, when you're drifting, you kind of steer more into the corner, but you can see how much more twitchy it is driving like this. I feel like I've changed the setup of the car quite a lot when it comes to the car and the way it handles. So I'm wondering now, is the top setting now for when I'm racing and then the bottom setting is when I'm drifting? It still feels pretty straightforward and really easy to drive, so it doesn't change that much. I think it's just the smoothness of how it works that changes. Let me change that as well, bring it all the way down. Yeah, this feels okay. Feels very similar still, but it definitely feels like you're in a lot more. It's not that you're in a lot more control, but it just means that your inputs just have a much bigger chance of making the car like kind of more twitchy, right? If that makes sense. So it's a lot less smooth, as you can see. You're still able to send it sideways. You're still able to do pretty much the exact same thing that you were able to do before. It's just can I fully spin this out? Like how hard do I need to push this to spin it out? Because when I'm sliding normally with assisted everything, oh my god, that's so easy to spin out. I was gonna say it's much more difficult to spin out. Wow. Oh my god, that's one of the biggest burnouts I've ever done. Still going. Those tires are getting 8. Here's my question to everybody watching the video. Do you prefer the assisted stuff when it comes to video games? Like, if you're the type of person, like, do you like the driving physics when it comes to stuff like Forza, or do you prefer stuff like this for arcade games, right? In my opinion, I still think Forza has, or like Forza Horizon anyway, has probably the best mix of arcade and like simulations type physics, right? Because it's still very, very similar. I feel like I made a video similar to this before, and I asked this question, and a lot of people are agreeing with me, saying that Forza Horizon does have the best sort of, I guess, setup when it comes to handling physics. You can see how I'm trying to be really, really smooth with my driving, but you will end up seeing it being really, really twitchy. Okay. Don't crash, don't crash, don't crash. Oh, that was smooth. Nice. I want to turn everything back on again, and we'll see how smooth this thing actually is to drive. Everything on max. Apply that. Little clutch kick. Oh my. Okay, this is like. It's incredibly heavily assisted. You can see how much smoother it is. Look at my inputs, man. Look at how much smoother that is. You also just realized that I'm driving down the wrong way. Even when I'm trying to do super snappy, that is about as snappy as it gets, by the way. Unless I fully lift off, just suddenly rip. fully lift off, how hard is it to spin out? I mean, you can still spin out. It's just a lot slower when you're spinning out. So you can see the assist. But yeah, my question is, do you guys prefer the handling physics on games like this? When it comes to like an arcade game, of course, if you're playing like iRacing or Assetto Corsa or something like that, if you're playing on just only on a wheel. I mean, to be honest, this game on a wheel is super similar to like sim games. It's actually really good and very fun to slide on a wheel. It's just the whole driving on controller, right? Because a lot of people will end up like playing this game on a controller. It's just what a massive, you know, player base on racing games are like. It's just what it's like. You can't be like, oh, why are you buying a racing game if you're only gonna play it on a controller? You know what I mean? Like, it's just how people, you know, prefer to play it. When they take it easy and they just want to enjoy the game and play it, you're not gonna go around and buy a whole setup, like a whole proper like wheel setup to do it. Yes, the experience is super fun and very good. It's just not everybody's out there buying wheel setups and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So the majority of the audience are going to be playing this thing on a wheel most likely, or on a controller most likely, not on a wheel. So here's my question to everybody: do you prefer having heavily assisted stuff like this, or do you prefer having it so it's a little bit more like Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport and even Gran Turismo, because Gran Turismo is very similar when it comes to that as well. So you still have the IRL kind of like sim aspects of the game, so you still have to counter steer yourself, you still have to do the whole clutch kicking thing, you still have to do pretty much everything yourself. It's just a lot less assisted, if that makes sense. So like you're not getting assisted with your counter steering or anything like that. Like in Need for Speed, for example, you get heavily assisted when it comes to like counter steering and all this sort of stuff. I mean, it's so bad that even the wheels don't even look like they're turning in when you're sliding. I kind of want to play Need for Speed again, but at the same time, I really don't want to build it up. I don't want to re-download it again. And the only reason why I don't like downloading it again is because I think it messes with my PC. And it really didn't like that. It blue screens my PC, man. Need for Speed straight up blue screens my PC, and it crashes the game as well. It's just something that happens so often. And I was looking it up, and apparently it's an issue where I have my CPU has too many cores, or it's clocked too highly, I guess, if that makes sense. Like the clock speed of the CPU is too big. So the only way to play Need for Speed on my setup, on my system right now, is if I downgrade, or if I how do I even say this? It's not even like I really don't have to, like, basically reduce the clock speed of my CPU, make it much lower. That's pretty much how I can only play the game. I need to cap my CPU clock speed. And I don't want to do that. That's so stupid just so I can play a game. And apparently this has been an issue for a long time, because Need for Speed kind of shares their whole platform or whatever, their whole setup with Need for Speed 2015. So all the way back to Need for Speed 2015, I've seen people have the issue that I'm having right now. Except I've never had it when you did Need for Speed before, except for Unbound. So I kind of want to go play with the game again just so I can make some videos on it, but I can't, because every time I build it up, it either crashes within, it could be anywhere between like 30 seconds to like 10 minutes into the recording, or it just straight up blue screens my PC. Trees! Okay, you know what I'm going to do as well? I'm going to try have another little look. I am at 331st position on this leaderboard. I managed to get so much higher before. Look at my time as well. I'm like 2.4 seconds slower than the top time. I was like almost top 100 on this just a few days ago, so I tried it. So I want to try this for racing as well. So I'm going to do one run, and you'll be able to see exactly what this thing is like. This is going to be weird for you guys to watch, because I've done this route a couple times now. So I know how to drive on this route to be as effective as possible, so I'm going to try and do the exact same thing that I've done before. So this is with all the stabilization and everything enabled, and I'm going to then turn it off and try again. Oh, too fast. That sucks. Let's try again. Let's try again. I'll try to do another like clean run, but at the same time, like I said, I want to try and do one without stabilization and then one with stabilization and see what it's like. don't even know if I'm using the NOS at the start correctly. I feel like I'm not. Oh god. That little tree trunk there, by the way, sends you to the moon if you're not careful. Also there, I could have turned in a little bit earlier. Why have I gone to the right? Why has it done that then? I mean, it's probably because it bottomed out, but come on, man. Just miss the trees and miss the tree trunk. Much cleaner. Much, much better. Oh, look at that. Beautiful driving on my part. Okay. Come on, come on, come on. No, I'm not gonna beat my rival. He's probably like just ever so slightly faster than I am. Okay, cool. 1-4-16. Is that what it was? That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, now I want to try again, but I want to try without any assist on. So can I do that? I know this is gonna start, but let's do settings. Go into controls. I'm gonna turn everything completely off, and we'll see what the car drives like. Then. So this isn't like traction control or anything like that. So this has nothing to do with that, because I think those are still off, if I remember correctly. They're not here, are they? I don't even know where it is, to be honest with you. It's just I don't even think that's even. Are you even able to turn on traction control in this game? I don't even know, to be honest. Oh, you can. Traction control is always off. I don't like playing with traction control on, it doesn't matter what game it is. Okay. That slide was very sketch already. Okay, I need to stop doing that. Every time I cut the corner there and I hit like the curb with like the underside of my car, it's just over. Alright, let's try again. Oh, terrible shift, man. It's fine. Much better launch. Much better launch, much better driving. Clean. So far, very clean. Come on, come on, come on. Let's get my boost back again, or whatever my NOS. I got a faster time. 291st. Okay. It actually kind of feels a little better to drive without any assists on when I'm racing. It feels a little better, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's just what's holding me back. What's holding me back right now is just some of the lines for some of the corners, because I think I can do a lot better and I can drive a lot faster. And that is just me, that's just nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with the assist and all that sort of stuff, so I just need to drive better. But genuinely, it doesn't feel that different or that crazy. driving with those assists off. Still feels pretty similar. In fact, it actually feels a little bit better, I think. And as you can see, it shows. It shows because I am going faster and faster and faster every single time. 125th. See what I mean? So for racing, it actually feels kind of decent. I feel like once we get to like some really, really tight and crazy corners, we might actually be able to feel the assists being turned off. But I mean, that was pretty easy. I made like a decent time in that event without the assists. So yeah. Anyway, let me know what you think of the update. Let me know what you think of these assists. This is something that I haven't tested out, like I said, on the public test servers or in the game yet up until this point. So people were asking me what do I think of them, so I thought I'd make a video. It's definitely a lot more noticeable, I think, when you're drifting than it is when you're racing. I feel like when you're racing, it actually feels a little bit more liberating, and it feels like you're not being held back as much, if that makes sense. It's like turning stability control off or turning traction control off versus having it on. And in some areas, obviously, it's going to be a little bit worse, but I feel like it's a little bit more freeing and it's a little bit better to drive with the assist turned off when it comes to that. But for drifting, if you want smoother and much cleaner slides, I definitely would put the stabilization on again if you're doing any sort of drifting. I just feel like it's just so much nicer. It just looks nicer, even aesthetically, it just looks nicer when you're sliding. I mean, you can, like I said, you can still try and replicate it and be as smooth as you possibly can when you have the assist off. But when you're doing stuff like this, you can see how twitchy it ends up being versus when you don't have it on. Or sorry, versus when you do have it on. Because right now it just feels like it's very, very twitchy like this when you're drifting. Regardless, that's pretty much it for me. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you want to see more videos like this on the channel, then of course subscribe. And I hope that answers your questions for people that were asking what the assists are like, or if I've ever tried the assists. Well, now I have, and hopefully I've given you guys my honest opinion on them. I do like them. I feel like more customization in the controls, the better. I definitely do think that they should bring out the whole counter steer by yourself sort of thing, with, like in Carx Drift Racing Online, just to have it in the game. Even if people don't end up using it, even if not a lot of people end up using it, just as long as it's there as an option for some people to use it, because I know some people will end up trying it out and using it. But yeah, I'm just saying. That's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.